I am Vinnie Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. I feel like I've been run down. I feel like I've been lied to.
Oh, no.
And I feel like you guys might feel the same way. I really do. We've been lied to for a long time. Look, I know I do this week in and week out. It starts to sound like conspiracy theory. Back when I had my radio show Talking Fitness, back in the 80s, the 1980s, some of you guys weren't even born yet.
That's right.
I was on the radio yelling about nutrition facts on the actual radio before podcast became bigger than radio. Right. I was on an AM station down in New Orleans yelling about the same stuff. And people would write to me and write to the station, hey, did he lose his tinfoil hat? Guy's nuts. What's he talking about? Right? He's telling us carbohydrates are the problem. That's how you get energy. What's he talking about? My dietitian says you get energy from sugar and carbohydrates. And pasta and bread is the good carbohydrate. That used to be my favorite. God, that was my favorite, Anna. Oh, dietitians. Oh, you got complex carbs and you have simple carbs. You want to get the complex carbs because those are the good carbs. Now you know how we have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol?
Yeah.
Oh, they pulled that playbook right from good carb, bad carb. I swear. The dietitians.
I never understood it, by the way. It never made any sense to me.
Oh, bad carbs. You see, complex carbs, Anna, let me explain it to you the way a dietitian would have explained it. See, a complex carb, like a grain, like corn and wheat, and don't eat the white bread, right? Eat the 7-grain bread. Eat the sprouted grain. Eat the this. Eat the that. Don't eat the fake oatmeal, the stuff, the instant. Go get the rolled oats. It's going to be better. And
Which,
if you really want to
make no friggin' sense.
If you really want to do well, you go get yourself the quinoa because that's got extra protein in it, right? All of the spelt bread. Go get spelt. Folks, I've been living through this hell since long before something called Twitter or X or Facebook. Some of those fucking pussies weren't even born when I started yelling about this shit. What year was Mark Zuckerberg born, Anna? Oh, how about you?
Isn't he around my age?
Instead of ranting, while I'm ranting, why don't you look it up? Hang on. I'm not done ranting, Anna. Hang on. I'll look it up. Don't worry. You don't have to look it up.
That's not how this works. I'm your co-host. I'm not your research gal.
No, but
you think of something off the top of your head and you're like, when was he born? Like I'm supposed to instantly be looking it up. What?
While Anna's yelling.
I'm happy to look it up.
I'm looking. Don't worry, Anna. I got it over here, right here. I got it. What year was he born? Started Facebook in 2004.
He's probably like 45.
Yeah, he was born. He's 40. He was born in 1984.
He's only 40.
He was a scant 6 years old when I was on the radio. 5.
Okay.
Before Zuckerberg was 5, I was yelling about this stuff. You want to know how long I've been yelling about this? Okay. I didn't just come up with this stuff yesterday. And I would tell people, listen, there's no difference. There is I just told a lie, Anna. I don't want to perpetuate lies.
So what are the differences then?
If you eat, let's say you ate table sugar, or let me give you other examples: a sucker, honey,
something that they give to diabetics when they have hypoglycemia and it gets dangerous.
Right. Like a regular soft drink, like a Coke or a Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper or whatever. Any of this stuff that's full of sugar will cause a glucose spike, right? Your sugar will go way up really fast because a simple sugar it hits your stomach. It goes right to your liver. It causes a spike. Insulin has to go in. It covers it. Then all of a sudden, your blood sugar drops below where it was to begin with. That's where diabetics run into trouble. That's why they're always chasing that. Now they have better drugs, better diabetic drugs for that. But I don't want to get into that. A complex carb like bread, pasta, rice, corn, the ones that the dietitians will tell you are the good carbs, the good clean. They use the word clean also. They don't just use good. They use clean.
Clean.
Clean. They burn efficiently according to the dietitians, not me. They burn efficiently in your system. What does that mean? Well, when you eat them, you don't get a glucose spike like you do with sugar. They're correct about that. You get something called a glycogen load. Your sugar goes up, and since this releases slowly from your stomach to your liver because there's a little substance to it, your sugar stays up. And your body has to keep releasing insulin to try to knock it down. And it might take an hour or two to knock it all down, depending on how much of that good clean carb, according to them, that you ate. It takes a while to knock it down. So you're releasing insulin on that the entire time. That's how you become insulin resistant, folks.
But
and if you eat, go on, Anna.
I was just going to say, so as somebody who was the recipient of this misinformation, I'm 10 years younger than you, but 10 years older than Zuck.
Right.
As somebody who was in the prime of receiving the eat less fat, eat more carbs, but eat the correct carbs, it never made any sense to me because, and then I think when they started to say the heart healthy grains, that was further along in the 90s. And then it started to make more sense to me. I was like, oh, well, those are different. So I guess that makes sense. I'll have brown rice instead of white rice, but I still don't understand. You know what I mean? Like it all was very confusing and it didn't really make sense. And then what was extra confusing was in 2002 being diagnosed with celiac and being told, well, you can't have gluten at all. So instead have all these other grains. And then that's okay. And it's just all gets really confusing. And then one week they tell us that if we have eggs, it's like smoking cigarettes, or if we have red meat, it's like increasing colon cancer. If we have salami or charcuterie, you know what I mean? It's non-flippin' stop.
Well, that's why people are so confused. Let's go back to what you were saying about celiac, right?
Yeah.
There are people who will say, oh, I can eat this because there's no gluten in it, right?
Right.
Okay. A lot of people confuse gluten-free. They go, oh, if it's gluten-free, that means the carbs are no longer in there, right? Not true.
No.
Not true at all. But I know you
sometimes there's even gluten in there because Cheerios got under fire for claiming that Cheerios were gluten-free, and turns out they were nothing of the sort. They had gluten-free. And also too, the new buzz phrase in the gluten world, which is full of misconceptions, is it's gluten-friendly. What
does that even mean?
What does gluten-friendly mean? It's friendly to having gluten or friendly to being gluten-free? It doesn't make any sense. And then people are like, oh, it's okay, you can have it. It's gluten-friendly. And I was like, wait, what? No. I don't know what it means.
Though, it's all the semantics that they use to lie to people. Right.
Well, now it's all high protein. Everyone's obsessed with their protein.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Well, that's been going back and forth. And that's a lot better, by the way. Eat high protein, folks. I'm fine.
It is, but people are looking for cheats, Vinny. They're looking for cheats. I was at the food show sampling our cheese bites, and people are like, because on the front it says 10 grams of protein per serving. Mm-hmm. We're doing that on purpose so we can catch the people looking for high protein. We want that. We want people who don't necessarily know about low carb or grain free. We want people who are looking for no sugar and high protein to be. But so many people were like, well, what's the protein? And I was like, well, it's cheese. And they're like, no, what did you add to it? Is it whey protein? Is it chicken protein? Is it pea protein? Did you add brown rice protein? They all want to know what protein we added. Everything has to have an added component of processed.
Everybody wants a fortification of something. They want to fortify everything. Let me help you out, folks. If you're ignorant to these facts, you want to take a guess where they get whey protein and casein protein. You want to take a guess at where all that comes from? It's from rennet. That's how you make cheese. You add an
I was going to
acid.
say, explain what rennet is.
You add an acid. I don't exactly know the chemistry of how cheese is made, but you add acid to milk, and that's how you make cheese. The byproduct.
That's how you make a simple cheese. If you add rennet, it adds a little bit. It's actually an animal byproduct that they put in
right
to make the thing.
And the byproduct of that is whey. It separates the whey. So they have all this whey separated, and they turn it into a powder. They freeze dry it, and that becomes whey protein. Ta-da. See how that works?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you have cheese, you already have protein, right? You don't have to add any back in. Folks, purevitaminclub.com is your number one source for vitamins. Here's the thing. I created these vitamins. These are not white labeled vitamins. You know, you go to a doctor's office or you see some of these doctors, they have books now and they're going, hey, if you want to be really healthy, you have to take vitamins. They're not wrong about that. And then they'll say, hey, take my special vitamins. I remember the first time I saw that back in maybe the late 80s, early 90s. Here's a book. And now I want you to take these vitamins. Oh, by the way, we sell the vitamins right here in the book, right? And then they just white label some junk, right? And then they sell it. That is not what purevitaminclub.com does. I created these vitamins after my first round of cancer when I started looking at everything, and I do mean everything. And the first thing I noticed in most of the supplements I was taking was titanium dioxide. And then I went down a rabbit hole. What is this for? Why do they do it? They do it to whitewash the vitamin so that they can add a color that you think is appropriate to ingest. So they're using something to whitewash your vitamins, and then they add a colorant, probably some dye that, you know, we don't agree with anymore, to get you to ingest the vitamin. We don't do any of that at purevitaminclub.com. You will not find titanium dioxide. You will not find excipients or flow agents or magnesium stearate, any of the sort. It's the purest vitamin on the planet, sold at the best possible price. Go to purevitaminclub.com right now and take care of all of your vitamin needs.
Can I read something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this to get political, but I think that the sugar industry responding to some comments from Secretary Kennedy is very telling.
Okay.
Basically, Kennedy said, we got to dial back the sugar in the American diet.
Yeah.
Okay. And which I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on. We're on the side of
health.
This is the work that we're doing, that you and I are doing, is to try to get people off of sugar.
Yep. I don't care what people think anymore. We don't talk politics on this show.
We don't. We're on the side of getting you guys healthy.
Anna, have we ever had off the air? You and I have talked a lot. We've talked about vaginas and penises and everything else off the air. We've sat over dinner.
We have.
We've had drinks. We've talked about everything.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know which side of the political aisle I'm on?
Not really. No, nor does it matter.
Do I know which side you're on?
Not really, nor does it matter.
Have you ever asked me what side I'm on, or ever asked me who I voted for president?
I have actually never asked you that question, nor is it relevant to anything that I need to know.
Have I ever asked you or your husband?
No.
Although I think I know which side he's on because I think he shared it one time. But doesn't mean that you're on that side. So I really don't know.
It doesn't, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All we care about here, folks, is health. So if we say we're not trying, we keep this podcast apolitical. We don't care who you're for or against. We really don't.
If somebody who comes out in favor of getting sugar out of processed foods, or at least showing labels as they are truly supposed to be read,
right?
I don't know. Is that so revolutionary? food labels that actually disclose what's on the inside of the package of food. Like you're not going to rely on a bunch of Anna Vocinos and Vinnie Tortoriches running around having to make all of the food that you're buying in the grocery store. That'd be terrible.
Right.
We don't want to do that.
And if we're talking about RFK, we don't care what side he's on. If he's saying something we agree with, we will agree. If he says something we're against, we will be against it. It's just, it's yes. And by the way, we're not, if we agree with him today, it doesn't mean that we're, after the show, we pull on our MAGA hats and all thing, because I think he's actually a Democrat, right? Isn't he a Democrat?
I thought I don't know. I mean, he's from a Democratic family, a famously Democratic
he's a Kennedy. So by definition, so we don't know if he wears a MAGA hat or not. I don't know. So the bottom line is we don't care, but go on, Anna.
I will say, I'm super proud of you for going to DC and speaking at these rallies and affecting change that way. I think that's amazing. Right. I am choosing to not do that. My way of doing it is I want to do this podcast. I want to talk about it on social media, and I want to continue to give people recipes so that they feel empowered. Like I am talking to the father and the mother who's on a day-to-day basis trying to figure out how to go to the grocery store and navigate this stuff.
Right.
I'm like, how are we going to make some chicken and some vegetables and make it taste good so that everybody's happy? Literally, that's how I'm affecting changes through the kitchen. I make the products. That's what I'm doing. I am not going to go in a political direction because I think all people deserve to have this information and deserve to be able to feel empowered to change their lives. You know what I mean? Like everyone deserves to make a good fucking yummy dinner. Like that shouldn't be something that's so out of reach.
Anna, that should be the name of your next cookbook.
Everyone deserves a good fucking dinner.
No, good fucking yummy dinner.
Good fucking yummy dinner.
And that would sell 1 million.
I would sell so many more copies.
You know what? Can I take that? Can I do a cookbook and call it Good Fucking Yummy Dinner?
No, you cannot.
You know what, folks? I just stole something from Anna. Anna, screw you. I'm taking that and running with it.
Have fun writing a book. Okay.
Exactly. One recipe. That book is going to be one. It's going to be very.
It's one that I wrote down for you.
Yeah, I told Anna what it was. She wrote it down and put it in her book
and made it make sense.
Yeah, because I just said, Anna, no, you don't understand. I browned a little.
I'm like, I got it.
I browned some hamburgers. I mean, some meatballs. See, I don't even remember. And then I took some eggs. I boiled them, and I threw them all in a pot together in a big thing. I turned it on and I poured your gravy in there. That's the recipe. I put Eat Happy gravy in there.
Vinnie's Bachelor Chili. I love it. Yeah. Which is great, by the way. And you know what? We make that at least once every 10 days over here because unless I'm recipe writing for a cookbook, I do not have time to sit and make fancy meals. So I'll hitch on to a recipe that I love, like the chicken with the red onion and spinach lemon cream sauce that I did the live about last week. I'll hitch into something and I'll make it 16 times in a row. And Lauren's like, honestly, can we be done? I'm like, yeah. Okay, next. Like I am like you guys. Like I'm trying to figure it out too. Yes, I know my way around the kitchen. Yes, I can improvise. Yes, as long as I know I have a variety of ingredients, I know how to put them together and make meals. No. But anyway, I want to talk about this response, and then we're going to get Jennifer on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about real quick the response that the sugar industry had to his comments.
Go on.
And I think the comments are around April 22nd. And he, and you could parse out his comments, but his overall statement, the gist was there's too much childhood diabetes, obesity, the sugar is not helping. We got to get it up. And the food industry is making us sick. So in response, Courtney Gaine, PhD, president and chief executive officer of the Sugar Association, voiced confidence that sound, independent scientific research will reaffirm that sugar has an appropriate place in a healthy diet. Quote, Secretary Kennedy has promised gold standard scientific reviews to support healthy diets, which we are confident will again reaffirm that real sugar in moderation plays an important part in balanced diets and that demonizing added sugars alone is counterproductive, Gaine said. In fact, real sugar has been consumed for millennia. Added sugars are some of the most studied ingredients in the food supply, and consumption in the United States is at its lowest in 40 years, while obesity continues its relentless rise.
Okay. That's bullshit. That's an out and out
Absolute
lie. When
bullshit.
you say millennia, how many millennia? Because a millennia is 100 years.
No, millennia is 1,000 years.
Okay, it's not even a millennia.
And actually,
I'm sorry,
millennium is 1,000 years. Millennia is the plural. So it's
1,000 years.
thousands of years.
Okay, back during the Lincoln administration, the average American had 1 pound of sugar per year. Period. 1 pound. So how can you say millennia? That's BS, and you know it. It makes no sense. And yeah, look, I get it. He's got a bunch of industries on the run.
I'm going to send Jennifer the link while you're talking.
No, she's up. I got her over here.
Oh, you got her. Okay, great.
Anna, listen, you sit back, pumpkin. You sit back and look pretty. I got it going on over here.
You really do. I don't got to do nothing no more.
You just sit back. I got Jennifer. She's here. Don't worry. I'll bring her up when we're ready. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you girls talk for a bit because I got to go run and do something. Once I bring her up, I got to go run and do something. I'll be back. And then you guys could talk about, like maybe
meal plans,
Villa Capelli ad or something like that.
Maybe she can help me with that.
Yeah. She was here, and then
she wrote, "How do I get sound? Look under settings. Can you hear us?" I can't see her, so I don't know where she is.
Well, no, she turned her computer off somehow. Tell her not to worry about sound. She'll get sound when I bring her up. Okay. So for whatever reason, I could see a video of her, and now that video is gone.
Oh, is that the thing that says present at the bottom?
Yeah, present or invite. So she's there, but I'm not going to add her right now because I don't see a video up.
Well, also she's not going to be on video. She didn't want to be on video. So just let her do the sound.
Okay.
But here's my thing. I want you to finish talking about how much sugar the average American ate during the Lincoln administration versus now.
Okay. During the Lincoln administration, about 1 pound per person per year. Per year. Right. No one.
That sounds like it would be like when somebody had a birthday or there was a Christmas pie or like some sort of celebration.
Sugar was not a thing, right? Only rich people can even get sugar back then.
Right.
Right. People would boil preservatives down and stuff like that, and there would be sugar in that, in order to save preservatives. But the average person, and there were some parts of society that never tasted stuff. Right. It just wasn't part of it. Now the average American, depending on which study you look at, I haven't seen any that shows under 150 pounds per person per year. And I've seen some all the way up to 300 pounds per person per year. Now I have Jennifer up twice. Jennifer, can you hear me? There she is. Can you hear me hold your thumb up if you can hear me. Yeah, she can hear me. Just hang out. We're going to bring you up in a minute. So that's the way that works, right? Well,
that statement that people are eating less sugar, that it's studied, that it's been acceptable. It's just it's the usual BS from them.
Yeah. And look, they got to sell sugar. It's what they sell. That's why, if you go watch Fat documentary, a movie that still does well is still chart. Can you believe a documentary is charting like?
That's awesome.
7 or 8 years in. People watch it all the time. My God. I mean, Mike Rowe had me back on his show to talk about that movie. Yeah. That's how crazy it is. And when you think about it, we talk about it. I say it right at the end. If you're waiting for government or someone to step in to help you, good luck. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's just not going to happen. You know what will happen is BOGO 25. Oh. That's happening right now.
For a limited time.
Anna, I don't even know what it means. Explain what, first off, I can tell you what the product is. It's those powders Anna makes.
Yeah.
You want these powders.
They are the time saver in the kitchen.
Oh, time saver. They change your life. You can make the best. If you're from the Midwest and you got to have your ranch dressing, you just take some creme fraiche or any kind of cream, right? You could take sour cream or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can sprinkle that in. Now, Anna hates that I do this, but I add a couple of pinches of salt because I like my stuff salty. and you just whip it together.
You're a nut job, and I love you for it.
I am. Sometimes I do Cajun style. I put a little cayenne. I hit it with cayenne.
Yes. I love a spicy ranch, son.
Yeah, spicy ranch. But you got to start with the Vocino dill powder, and you can get that in a 2-pack. Now, you get your first 2-pack is regular price.
That's right.
You get your second. I don't want to say 2-pack because there's a guy named. Is it 2-pack died?
That's Tupac.
Yeah, the guy that's dead.
Is a 2-pack, not a 2-pack.
2-pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about 2 packs.
So the second one.
Yeah.
The second one, Anna. This is what people need to know. You buy the first 2-pack, you get the second one 25% off. That's what BOGO 25. You buy one, you get one for 25% off.
That's right.
So go right now. I got 8 of them somewhere, according to Anna.
You do.
You know what?
Somebody just bought 8 of them today, and that was the right thing to do because you want an even amount.
Mm-hmm.
Because or else you have to buy one to get one. Or else if you're buying one to get one, but you buy 9, you're not going to get the BOGO on the 9th thing. You have to buy.
But you will get it on the first 8, right? Meaning 4 of the 8.
As long as it's an even amount, it'll automatically do the discount. You don't have to remember anything. It'll just do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. So that makes sense.
And we're doing this until we get these new spice tins. When we get the new spice tins, not only do we have to raise the price because of tariffs, we will have to we're not going to put these on sale. These are brand new. You know what I mean? So
and
we're
the same product in there.
The canisters.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I put the salt dust on eggs this morning. I made 2 eggs. And what I do is I put the butter in the pan, 2 eggs, salt dust, let it fry, flip it over because I like it over medium.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of cheese on there, a little more salt dust. Turn off the heat, let it sit for 1 more minute just to get the cheese melted.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on the plate. Oh, it's so good.
Anna, did I tell you one of my favorite ways to make the egg?
Tell me.
I call it the in-pan scramble. Now, here's what I do. You crack, I have like 4 or 5 in there, whatever I feel like.
I just do 2 at a time. I'm boring.
Yeah, I'm a man. So I'll put 4 or 5 in there in my pan. I got the Lodge pan.
Right.
And I'll let the whites start to harden up a bit. So once they harden up a bit, just a little bit, not all the way through, I take my spatula and I mix them around to make all of, it kind of, get the yolk to go in and out and in between. And it picks up more of the butter from the pan and more of the flavor because that pan I've had for like 20 years.
Yep.
Anna, it's overboard. It's the best eggs ever.
I actually call that the man scramble because that's how Lauren makes the eggs too. I beat the eggs before I put them in the pan, but you guys you're like, let's save a step. We're not washing extra dishes.
I'm going to teach you another trick, folks. You ready? Anna thinks she knows how to cook. Pay attention to me.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. You take your blender. Doesn't matter what kind you have. I have the Vitamix. You might have something else. You put your eggs in there. And you put just a little milk or heavy cream or half and half. Doesn't matter.
I do heavy cream.
Yeah, either milk, heavy cream, half and half. Doesn't matter. Put in a little bit. You're going to say, well, what's a little bit?
Sploosh. Just a
sploosh. Just
yep.
Then whiz it up for about 30 seconds. They become fluffy. It's something about the cream.
You probably do it 15 seconds. You don't need to do it full 30 seconds.
No, you just just do it up. And then pour that into the pan. Okay. And you got it's foamy on top, it's fluffy. And here's what you do. You take some cheese, right? You take a block of cheese and you grate a little bit, whatever you like. You like the provolone, you like the cheddar. Doesn't matter.
I like the cheddar and I like the Colby Jack.
You get the Colby Jack, shave a little bit in there, right?
Okay, you got to have the salt dust with this, Vinny. You're going to lose your mind.
Hang on, Anna. I'm not done yet.
Oh.
Yeah, you put your salt, your pepper, your salt dust. You do whatever. You put all that. Well, now hang on. This is the cool thing. Okay, if you got some white onions, just lay them in there. Just lay them in. Right. Flip it over. I'll leave them kind of running in the middle.
I like sauteing the onions ahead of time and then putting the eggs in.
Oh.
Yeah, if you have any leftover veg from the night before, saute them in the butter, and then put your eggs in there.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. I'll saute them and then pour the eggs over that. So now they're stuck in the outside of the omelet when you flip it over.
I am hungry
Awesome.
now.
Yeah. You know what?
Jennifer's going to talk about food. We're only going to talk about food from here on out.
Yeah. So folks, get ready because we have Jennifer who's done something I would consider it quite awesome what she did. She did a year's worth of food planning.
I could never.
We can't even plan earlier in the day. You know, it's like, what you want tonight? And then Serena,
this is amazing. Let's bring her on.
All right, let me see if I can bring her up. There she is. How you doing, Jennifer?
And she's on camera. Yay, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Jennifer?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you in the world? I always ask everyone this.
Western Michigan.
What's it like in Western Michigan? What kind of weather are we getting right now?
It's gloomy, but it's almost 60 degrees.
Didn't you guys have some kind of rogue ice storm come through or something, or was that somewhere else? Was that Minnesota?
Yeah, it was up towards, I think, Traverse City, Gaylord area.
Yeah, like a once in a millennia ice storm. See how I brought that back, Anna? Millennia.
Good job.
Yeah.
So, how many people are you cooking for over there, Jennifer? Is it just you and your husband, you and your boyfriend, you and 5 kids? What are we doing?
Myself, my husband, and a 9-year-old now.
Okay, so you have a 9-year-old, and so what made you explain what you're doing?
Well, the 9-year-old is an addition. Our youngest is actually almost 26. So I calculated after emailing Anna the first time, it was been about 15 years that I started this, 15 years ago that I started this.
Incredible.
And just busy family life. You want to do things as simply as possible. Coming home from work and standing in front of the fridge, wondering what you're going to cook is not fun. It's time consuming.
So she put together, if you didn't hear last week's episode, Jennifer has been working off of a document that's her 1 year of meals, 1 year of dinners, meal plan.
Yeah.
I mean, so 365 din-dins.
All right. So I have all kinds of questions, Jennifer. Yeah. First off, what keeps you busy? What type of work do you do, or what do you do to keep you busy?
I was a substitute teacher, so I worked every day.
Yeah.
Now I work with my husband at a semi-truck garage. So
that's not easy work. What type of work does he do at the garage? Is he dispatching trucks, or is he working on trucks?
He's the fleet manager, so he's in charge of all the trucks.
Yeah, that's not easy. I mean, that's because something's always broken on something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're constantly calling in to figure out, warranty stuff and this and that and the whole thing. I know a little bit about the trucking industry because of my own family. So you're always trying to figure it out. So you do that. You have a long day. You need to come home, cook for you, your husband, and the 9-year-old. Right? So how do you plan out a year? I mean, I'm going to get, I don't know, my wife and I have like 20 or 25 go-tos. I'm going to give you my example.
Rotations.
Yeah, the rotations of things we like. But she's prolific. She can make anything, right? She's a really good cook. So she'll say, I'm tired of my own rotation, right? Like last night we had a chicken parm. We probably haven't had chicken parm in 2 months, but it came up and we've had other forms of chicken, lemon chicken this, and a Vocino chicken that, you name it, right? But we came up with chicken, creamy something chicken. All right. We came up on chicken parm again. I was like, wow. Yeah. By the time she got back to it, I was like, yeah, I miss it. Right.
Yes.
So, but she's always, she goes to the store every day because she goes and exercise, and she decides at that point, tonight we're making XYZ. How do you do a year? How does that work? And is it all done at once, or how many different recipes are there? Do you get back to the chicken parm, so to speak, every 4th week? How does it work?
We don't eat the same meal twice in a year unless it's a birthday that somebody chose. No,
Right.
not.
Okay, that's impossible. So
No,
365.
no.
This
I
woman
told
is
Anna,
amazing.
no, I told Anna I don't cook on Saturdays. That's Fend for Yourself day. So I figured it out. 313 meals. It's not that bad.
Okay, that's not
I mean,
big
everybody's
difference.
doing it. Everybody has to make dinner every night. It's just, I mean, not every night. Sometimes you have fend for yourself. Sometimes you'll go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, for the majority of the year, whoever is in charge of doing the kitchen, you're making dinner. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you
All
take it on
Every night.
badly, but you want it to be exciting.
So
So
your
the-
husband makes dinner sometimes. The kid is a boy or girl?
Boy.
And does he make meals?
He likes making breakfast, eggs. He cooks eggs all the time.
Great.
Okay,
That's awesome.
he's a man after my own heart. So give me some examples of I mean, are we talking, you have like Asian fusion night? I mean, you got to get into, you can't just do like Italian or French or Mexican because you'll run out within a week.
Correct. So
Yeah.
well, Sundays, it was like the big farmhouse meal. So it takes longer to cook. It's the bigger, heftier meals. Monday is what we would call it, an American fare, the easier type meals. Tuesday is Southwest.
No, hang on. Monday, American fare. Give us 5 examples, 6 examples. You got 52 weeks. So
Can I cheat in my book?
Yeah, absolutely.
Loaf.
Look at this, Anna. Anna,
I know. I
She's
know.
got the whole thing.
No, she's a badass.
Yeah, I know. So like it could be American fare could be like your steaks, it could be burgers, it could be your hot dogs, anything that
I love hot
anything
dogs.
that's an easier type. Mexican BLTs.
Well,
How many chicken tenders?
Well, Mexican is not American fare.
So she said that Tuesday was Southwest Fare.
Okay,
Mhm.
so, all right, so that's
She's talking
Mexican.
about Tuesday.
Now we're on Tuesday. So give us maybe 5 examples on Tuesday.
You have fajitas, you have tacos, many different types of ranges of tacos you could do. You have burritos, you have nachos. That's just one menu one month. You have burrito bowls.
Which is something we would do to keep it NSNG.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Cauliflower rice skillet, Mexican cauliflower rice skillet. New Mexico style red pork chili.
Yes.
Taquitos.
Oh, I love taquitos. How do you make taquitos? Is that low carb? Or you can't do taquitos low carb, can you?
No, I don't think so. It's can I drop names or?
Sure.
It's a Drummond recipe.
She's the pioneer woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I remember her.
Yeah.
So
But now you said you're gathering up NSNG, a year's worth of NSNG recipes, which is very admirable.
So your database has 272 recipes between main course, soups and stews, and casseroles and bakes. Some of them might be duplicates because you have them listed as Substack and in your books. So I haven't gone through that yet, but if I only am cooking 313 meals, you got almost all of them in 1 year. For 1 year.
all
I was
right.
going
So
to say I've published over 700 unique recipes, but there's breakfast and
correct,
things like that.
Yeah,
mixed in.
you can have breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
So let's go to Wednesday. What night is Wednesday night?
Italian.
Oh yeah, I would like Wednesday.
I like Wednesday night.
Yeah. All right.
I like all these nights, honestly.
Thursday night. What are you doing Thursday?
Is an Asian type stir fries,
Friday.
soups and casseroles.
Ooh, she goes
I love a
Midwest.
soup and I love a casserole.
All right, so let's get to Saturday. It's Fend
You
for
don't notice you didn't call it hot dish, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, she wanted to. I could tell. She almost said hot.
No, she calls it a casserole like normal people.
Yeah, but she's in Wisconsin. If she was a little further down,
No, she's in Michigan.
Yeah. Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Yeah, if you were a little further down, more into the Midwest, I think you would have probably said hot dish.
I've never even heard that before.
Thank
Really?
you. I hadn't either until Kurt Lapierre shamed me about calling everything a casserole. I have a whole chapter of soups and casseroles because I love them.
Yeah,
And then he's like, they're called hot dish. I think it's a Minnesota, North Dakota thing is hot dish. But also hot dish, I think, has tater tots in it.
They do it down in Kansas also.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. All right. So let's get to Saturday. Everyone fends for themselves. What does that even mean? Are you not cooking at all? Or
I usually do not. So it could be leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
Or if the guys decide, okay, Vinnie, in your podcast that I just listened to, you said fend for yourself. You're like, we're going out. Yeah. My husband laughed at that because that's what it is. He'd be like, oh, am I responsible for dinner? We're ordering a pizza.
Yeah, we're leaving the house. Is my night, honey?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you about leftovers? Do you make enough every night to have leftovers for lunch the next day, or do you freeze leftovers, or how do you?
No, if the whole meal is not eaten, then yes, we have leftovers. Otherwise, it's planned that the meal is gone.
Got it.
So
that's what we do, because Lauren and I don't often, if I have a little bit of leftovers, I'll keep it and I'll put it in the eggs the next morning. But I kind of plan to cook for the number of people who are going to eat all the food, so it's gone.
Yeah.
Now on Sunday, you said something about Barnhouse Fair or some big fair. What is that? What does that entail?
Pot roast, chicken and dumplings,
the Sunday dinner meals.
Big dinner meals. Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, it would be meatballs and sauce. That's a Sunday thing for Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
You look like you're naturally very, very lean. So you're one of those lucky people. You want to start cooking NSNG. You want to start going lower carb. For what reason? Your husband, the kid? What are we dealing with here?
Yeah, my husband.
Yeah. Good. And we want to get you back on after several months of this. I want to see if it's working out for him.
And I would like to know if you would be willing to share your NSNG meal plan in the group, because as you know, Jennifer and I have spoken about this because she heard me on the podcast talk about, I've created a 30-day meal plan of dinners. And I think, and I say at the end of it, if you've gotten through this, you want more meal plans, write me. And not a single person has written me but Miss Jennifer here. Literally, she's the only person. And that thing has been downloaded tens of thousands of times. And what that tells me is that people want a meal plan because they want to stay on track, but really most folks aren't going to stay on track. And what Jennifer and I were talking about earlier today, and I hope you can talk about this, Jennifer, is that she doesn't feel that temptation at the grocery store. She can stay on plan. She has that brain. And that's awesome. Tell us your secrets, wise one.
I don't like to shop, period. I am a get in, get out, what I need. My grocery list is put in order by aisle at the grocery store. So I can just go in, and it's normally the outer area of the grocery store. Once in a while, you have to go through the canned goods section for some stuff, but otherwise,
some
I like
condiments, some sauces, some inner aisle, but the rest is all outer.
And I think I might be falling in love with Jennifer. Jennifer, is your marriage on the rocks? Anything? Maybe thinking about leaving your husband?
No, we're good.
She's efficient. I love efficiency.
Yeah.
There's 365 different, 313 different meals every year. And Vocino goes, I got a 30-day meal plan, and Jennifer goes, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
and by the way that Serena and I both, I'm very much that way too. I'll plan for a day or two, and that's about it. It's a different kind of like European mindset of like, well, let's see what we're in the mood for. We'll just pick up a couple of things. The downside is that the fridge is not stocked with like fun things to like grab and snack on. You know what I mean? It's just, there's eggs, make your eggs, make your lunch, make your dinner, and that's it. But
Anna, to your point, so Serena might bring home filet. right?
Mhm.
I know people, oh, fillets. I love fillets, right? So she'll bring home 2 fillets.
You do love fillets. You always get the fillet when we go out.
Yeah, not always. Sometimes I'll get the strip, but I like strips and I like fillets. So if a strip comes home, all right. So we'll do just the Vocino powder on the strip, right?
Yeah.
The fillet will do that too. So what she'll do is I'm going to name 3 different ways we would do a fillet. One, we'll do the Vocino powder.
Barbecue dust.
Right. So we heat up the pan, the same pan I make the eggs in, or she'll use the bigger lodge,
Mhm.
get it really hot, and she'll put a lot of butter in it, and then she'll sprinkle on one side of it and just get Anna Vocino's barbecue powder on one side, and then sprinkle the other side, turn it over, and then hit, because it's a filet and it's really thick, she'll put the powder all the way around it and hold it in the fire standing up. And after she encases it on each side, it goes into the oven for a few minutes and then it's rested, right? Because we like it pretty rare. That's one way we'll make a filet.
Mhm.
Another way might be like a pepper cream sauce.
Yeah. That's a fun, easy way to use up stuff
Peppercorn.
you already have.
Yeah, peppercorn cream sauce on a filet. And then other times we'll do it traditional steakhouse, right? Just a little salt, butter in the oven, really hot, and then let it rest. So a filet will come into the house, or 2 fillets will come into the house, and she'll say, how would you like it tonight? Right? What are we going to do with this filet?
That's where you get to chime in. That's where you get a say in things.
Yeah, that's where I get to pretend I'm, the man of the house, even though we know that's not true.
I want steak.
It's like, no, we know it's going to be steak. We just
But what kind? Steak, meat.
And same thing with shrimp, right? We'll bring shrimp in. Do we want it to be a cold shrimp dish? Do we want it to be creamy? Do we want it to be, 5 different ways, right? Do you want it to be?
I love a blackened shrimp.
Spicy. You blacken, kind of blacken. We use Anna's powders and that stuff too. It goes really well. So there are different ways to do shrimp and fish, and you name it, right? So
It sounds like Jennifer has all those ways.
Right. Each one of those is a different recipe.
Right. So
So it counts each as one.
Right.
So instead of it being your whim, she will have planned it and you just get to enjoy the fruits of that. That sounds awesome.
Let's say it's Italian night and you guys already had lasagna that year and your husband's going, oh, come on, Jennifer, I really want the lasagna. Would you do it again?
I don't think he would dare.
Well, he only gets his favorite meal is my burritos, and so that he chooses that obviously for his birthday meal, because birthday meals are your specialty. So he gets them on the menu and his birthdays. That's it. If he wants them on a Saturday, then he has to really like, hey, can we have burritos? And I'm like,
up some burritos on a Saturday.
If you want to cook it.
Yeah.
Put you a therapist and everything is like, yeah, Saturday, I want a burrito. Is he like talking to the kid going, hey, listen, go talk to her about the burrito. If we band together, we could get the burrito, right?
Yeah, he's already, I think, convinced him to say he wants burritos for his birthday.
Wow.
That's admirable. I live with a man like that.
It's like, hey kid, you want a go-kart? Let me explain to you how a go-kart ends up in the driveway. Daddy needs a burrito on your birthday. Yeah, that's the way that works.
Yeah, do you want me to tell you a funny story?
Sure.
Yes.
Our youngest daughter was in dance, and she we would go traveling for her dance, and we were going to be gone over a Sunday, which would be a farmhouse meal, chicken and dumplings, her absolute favorite.
So good.
And when she looked at the calendar and realized that we were going to be gone over chicken and dumpling day, she was like, are you kidding me? I have to wait a full year to have my favorite meal?
Please tell me you gave in to it. Please.
I did. I did. I made it the week before we left.
Thank you. So what, did you just switch that out with the other week and just moved it a week?
Yeah.
Amazing. I feel like I feel like I think this is going to be really fun, especially in the Eat Happy recipe group. People are going to be talking about like what kind of ideas you're inspiring with how to plan ahead, you know?
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jennifer, we're going to have to go here in a second, but I got one more question for you. When you make meatloaf, is that like a farmhouse meal or is that during the week meal?
That's a Monday.
How do you figure that's
She doesn't
It
like
is-
meatloaf. Look at her. She doesn't
no.
like meatloaf. I could tell.
No, I've made meatloaf once my entire life.
She is not a fan.
Why not?
I have like 5 meatloaf recipes.
Well, you know
Too
what?
many
It
meatloaf.
depends on, I guess, how it's cooked, because
Yeah.
when I was younger growing up, it was just a big hunk
Not
of
good.
burger with onions with ketchup on top.
There was not a
good.
good meatloaf in the
Oh,
80s.
gosh.
We didn't have a good meatloaf made for us in the 70s or 80s. We didn't. We have
No.
had to take the next generation. We have had to take the yolk of meatloaf and bring it to the next generation in order to have it be delicious and palatable.
My
Yeah,
grandma
and I will have to try yours to get the approval of the boys in the house.
The asparagus Swiss stuffed meatloaf from the second cookbook is really good.
Oh, that's my husband's favorite is asparagus. So
You might have to add it. To the
I
list.
shouldn't be saying this, but my grandmother used to do it. She would let the bread get stale and then grate the bread like Italians do.
Yeah.
wow.
And mix it with the meat, and they would do all the stuff in there, the onions and everything, and then they would have eggs in the middle. They would have the boiled eggs in the middle of the meatloaf. So when you sliced it, you got a piece of egg right in the middle. It was the
That's a
most
treat.
amazing.
Yeah, my mom didn't put in that level of effort.
Oh,
No.
and by the way, they would have like a nice kind of barbecue sauce on top, kind of made, basically made from scratch. It was all Italian women. Or they would do like a marinara type, bacon on there. And by the way, if you do Vocino's, you could do the arrabbiata. We've done that.
That'd be good, a spicy
Right.
meatloaf. That would
And
be really
we don't do the breadcrumbs like my grandmother
Yeah.
did. But if you go
good.
get
All my meatloaf recipes do not have breadcrumbs in them, guys.
and they're
Yeah.
amazing. And Jennifer, you're going to love her recipes. It's way different than what you just described. That's like serial killer meatloaf. I'm talking about.
No, but my mom didn't know. Like, she thought she was doing right by making this terrible meatloaf with the frozen bird's eye slivered almonds and green beans.
Whoa.
How did you become so good at cooking?
I had
such
a
an
deep
abomination?
desire within me to eat well. I grew up in a food scarce household, and it always interested me. And I was also only allowed to watch PBS. So I watched a lot of Julia Child and The Frugal Gourmet, and they made all this fresh food, and I did not have access to that kind of food. And it was really hard. My mom did the best that she could, and things got better over the years, but it made me inspired to cook. And so from that perspective, I'm self-taught. And then I wound up working in catering and living with people who cook tremendously and just watching and observing and learning.
Yeah, it's amazing. Jennifer, I'm looking forward to your year of NSNG recipes, and you and Anna figuring that out, because
That's gonna be fun.
this is kind of exciting, right?
It is.
It doesn't take much to get me excited, but I'm excited.
Hey, you know what I want to know is, on those years worth of recipes, how many recipes will use Villa Capelli olive oil?
That's right. Villa Capelli, folks, the best olive oil on the planet. They will not serve an oil before it's time.
Yeah.
So when those trees run out of olives,
Let me see if it's
Stephen
even back in stock.
Stephen Crutchfield goes, you know what? I can call Spain. I could probably call Greece, get some of
No.
that crap sent over
He's
here.
he's not going to do it.
He doesn't do it. When they're out, they're out. So you got to put your name on the list.
Yeah, put your name in there at the items so that when he marks them back in stock, you'll automatically get the email.
That's
and
right.
then hightail it over there and order it before it's all gone, because we do keep them sold out quite a bit, several times a year. He can't keep up with the demand.
Yeah. Villa Capelli. Don't forget, Anna, it's the end of the month, and bill them so we can get some money in here.
Ooh, thank you. Yes, I will.
Yeah, getting rich. Villa Capelli, folks, if you want us to get rich, please go buy it and put in promo code Vinnie, Vinnie. If they're out of stuff that you want, put your name on the list, and Stephen Crutchfield will let you know as soon as it's in. Villa Capelli olive oil, I use it here. Anna uses it where she is. I'm so Italian, I rub it in my scalp before I go lay in the sun. It's just the way I do it. My
By the
grandma
way,
did that to me, and I do it. Go on.
my
Anna.
husband just texted me because I thought a giant ribeye that I have left over from Costco. So I thought a giant ribeye. We're going to split that for dinner, but we don't have any vegetables in the house. And he just texted me. He's going to the Solvang Farmers Market right now, and he said, "Do we need vegetables?" I said, "Yeah, go get some vegetables and some shrooms, and we're going to take those shrooms because there's a shroom guy who does like the lion's mane shrooms and the what's the other one, the little shiitake, and and he does like a bunch of, you can get an assortment of those yummy foraged shrooms."
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do it with just Villa Capelli olive oil. I have a leek, the shrooms, and a little bit of cream, salt dust. Boom. It's going to be so good with that.
And
that
he's
ribeye.
going over to
It's going to be so good.
He's going over there to meet his guma. Oh, we need vegetables.
He does not have a guma.
You don't know that. He's Italian. He might.
I don't know that. I wouldn't know that.
No. Why would
in fact, the wife exclusively doesn't know when there's a
everybody knows except the wife.
Yeah, exactly.
The wife always
Oh
knows.
my God. I if that happens, I will take all of his money. So
all $10 of it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every last cent. I will leave him with nothing.
Zero. That's how you women do it.
None. That's right.
Man can't even have a good guma these days. Jennifer, you have any place you want to send people? Any plugs?
No, I'm not on social media at all.
She's just doing this out of the goodness of her heart.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
she's such a good human.
If you guys want to find Jennifer, you're going to have to go knock on her front door.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
But don't go looking Jennifer. We don't even know her last name, so we're not going to say it. So folks, rate and review this podcast. By the way, I'm putting together a whole new VinnieTortorich.com site. Excitement coming. But
when are your workouts coming?
The workouts are coming soon. I want the new site to be up with the workouts, and I'm almost done with the workouts. You're going to love the stuff, Anna. I'm doing a lot of things. A lot of things are happening. So, folks, go check out VinnieTortorich.com before you go to Amazon. And that's it. Anna Vocino has BOGO 25. Go check that out. Also, annavocino.substack.com. I check it out every time I see it in my thing. It comes through the mail. You see it in the inbox.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. What did I say wrong, Anna?
I love it. I love it. Check it out from the mail. It just sounds like USPS, but it's USPS via your email.
Yeah, the email, and it comes in, and then you.
Every new recipe I put there, there's a downloadable, printable PDF, so you can print it and stick it in your little files.
Yeah, put in your little file.
Mm-hmm.
So, on behalf of Jennifer and Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with a little more of the Allman Brothers.